everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria and I talk everything Leafs hockey from across the pond in Scotland. For today's video, it is another weekly analysis video. We are on week 11, well we've just had week 11 of the Toronto Maple Leafs season. In these videos I round up the past week's Leafs games and I just share some of my thoughts on them. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. The Leafs had 3 games this week, so let's talk about them. The Leafs' first game of the week was away to the Dallas Stars and they won this game 5-3. Yes, the Leafs managed to find the win in this game despite being outshot 39-19. It wasn't their best performance, really, but a win is a win. The first period saw Dallas take the initial lead, but a snapshot home from Max Domi tied the game up at 1-1. In the second period, Dallas took the lead again with a Dadonov goal, just 22 seconds into the middle frame. But the Leafs suddenly found their footing and they got 3 second period goals from Nylander, Robertson and McMahon, making it 4-2 going into the final 20. Despite a goal from the Stars making it 4-3, an empty netter from Nylander sealed the deal and gave the Leafs the win. Even though the Leafs were given 1 power play opportunity and Dallas were given 4 in this game, neither of the teams capitalised on this. Joseph Woll was pretty solid in this game. He only allowed 3 goals in on 39 shots. Dallas were really putting pucks to the net. I feel like if Woll hadn't been quite on the same form, the Leafs definitely would have been in trouble in this game because he was making a lot of stops and a lot of saves. The core 4, with the exception of Nylander, were not particularly great in this game. Wasn't the strongest for them. A standout of this game and of the week in general was definitely Bobby McMahon. But overall it was a great start to the week for the Leafs. You will take a win, especially away from home. And then it was on to the next game, another away game. They were away to Buffalo on Friday night and they won this game 6-3. It was the first game in yet another back-to-back for the Leafs. They have had so many this year. And in this game the Leafs handed the Sabres their 12th consecutive loss. As I'm filming this, Buffalo also have lost to Boston since then and they are on 13 consecutive losses, which not good. A quick opening goal from Bobby McMahon just a minute and a half into the game, followed by a Matthews power play goal 5 minutes later, gave the Leafs a 2-goal lead at the end of the first. The Leafs continued to dominate in the second with 3 goals from Robertson, Domi and Pacioretty. However, the Sabres did claw back 2 goals in this period as well. The final 20 saw Owen Power get a goal, making it 5-3, but an empty netter from Nylander gave the Leafs the win. On paper, this looked like it was a relatively uneventful and kind of easy win for the Leafs, but it wasn't really the case. Buffalo did actually score a few minutes into the game, tying it up, making it 1-1, but in a slightly crazy turn of events, the goal was actually disallowed. A high stick on Chris Tanev was called, it was a double minor, and so rather than the Leafs conceding, they actually ended up on the power play and they scored. That's where that Matthews first period goal came from. Buffalo also, this team, I do kind of feel bad for Buffalo, it's hard not to. They actually had a goal disallowed in the final period too due to goaltender interference, so there were 2 goals right there. And of course Leafs win 6-3 with the last one being an empty netter. If those 2 goals had been given, it could have been a 5-5 game. It could have actually been even like worse for the Leafs because obviously that goal from Matthews was on the power play. So if they hadn't had the high stick and the goaltender interference, which by the way, that goaltender interference call that the Leafs team decided to go for based off the video, it was an exceptional call. Although I feel like the Leafs video team always do a great job and they always make the right call. I really trust those guys. This was also the first NHL game for Matt Murray in over a year and a half. He managed to stop 24 shots and it was an emotional return to the league for him. Another talking point of this game is of course the fact that Austin Matthews' injury seems to be a problem again. A hit from Tage Thompson seems to have niggled something again, likely his back or something it seems like. And I think Morgan Rielly's reaction to the hit from Thompson really speaks volumes. Morgan Rielly really went in on him after this hit on Matthews. Clearly this knew that this had the potential to bring up this niggling injury again. Love that from Morgan Rielly, by the way. Stand up for your teammates. But once again, we are now without Austin Matthews, which is a real shame. This injury seems to be something more long term than, you know, I think any of us had hoped for. I really hoped that after his break and after going over to Germany that it really would have solved the issue, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm not sure where they're best to go with this. Do they keep Matthews out for a long period of time to try and let him rest and make sure that by the time they're going into the postseason he is back and fully healthy? But then what detrimental effect could that have on the Leafs in between then, especially given that they are a goaltender short and Stollarz has been one of their biggest assets this season. So losing out on one of your goaltenders and your star player is a real loss for this team, and it's a shame because they've had a great sort of first third of the season and I would hate to see this go downhill from here based on those absences. But anyway, on to to the December 21st game. They were at home against the New York Islanders and they lose 6-3. It was the final game of the week and week 11 ended with a big loss for the Leafs. The Islanders, of course, not good. Bottom of their division. There was no Matthews in this game, as I just said. It was just a little bit of a mess. They conceded 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of the game. Nylander did score, made it 2-1, but the Islanders pulled ahead once again. A second period Nylander goal did keep them in it again, and it also gave Nylander his 23rd goal of the season. So of course the third starts 3-2. The Leafs are still very much in this game. I honestly did think they were actually going to come back and win this, to be honest. But 2 goals from the Islanders, both 5-on-5 goals, not on the power play, really pulled the game out of reach for the Leafs. Bobby McMahon did score and make it 5-3, but Barzal managed to get an empty netter, making it 6-3. This game was really weird, by the way. There was no penalties given, so there was no power play. There's nothing in this game, which is so strange and so rare. Wall wasn't amazing in this game. I think he definitely looked weaker, and although definitely not his fault, there was definitely a goal or two there that I'm sure he'd like to have back. Nylander was one of the few players who deserved praise in this game. It's funny, I feel like Nylander doesn't have the same flashy plays this season, and sometimes you feel like he's a little quieter. Yeah, he's the one who's really scoring the goals. Like, he's definitely just like getting on with things, doing his job properly, but he's also really racking up the goals. So at the end of week 11, the Leafs are second in the division, as last night Florida beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2. The Leafs are also 6th overall in the NHL, which I am more than happy with. This video is obviously going up on Monday if you're watching this today. Happy Christmas Eve. Happy holidays. I'll upload this video after the Leafs game tonight because the Leafs game is on early, 2 PM Eastern time, which makes it 7 PM my time, which means that I get to watch a Leafs game at the normal time that I'd be watching it if I was in Canada. So I'm very, very excited about that. They're of course playing the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and then they also have Detroit this week and also Washington. Winnipeg, of course, will be a challenge. They are top of the league. They've got the best record in the league. Washington are second in the league, so it's also very challenging. Detroit is the only team that should be an easier matchup for them, but you know, it might not be. This will definitely be a tough week for the Leafs, definitely a challenging festive period of games for them, especially given the couple of absences and injuries that they have right now. But sometimes the Leafs play just really well up to really good teams, so I'm hoping that's going to be the case this week. So I think that's all for today's video. I tried to wrap this video up kind of quick because I have a habit of talking for too long and I really want to get this video up today. It's also Christmas and people don't have the time to watch long videos of me rambling about the Leafs. I could talk about the Leafs for hours and hours and hours, trust me. Like, I really have to rein myself in. So that is all for week 11 of the Toronto Maple Leaf season. Leave a comment down below. How are you feeling about the Leafs right now? How do you feel about the Matthews injury? Make sure to subscribe to my channel and also like this video. I do still have another couple of videos going up before the new year, but I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with more Toronto Maple Leafs chats from across the pond. Bye guys.